we're here for the highlight of the New Music Friday. Big Wiz is back. Okay, back-to-back singles for his next album, Morayo album. This is a big moment. This is a song that has been teased, obviously, from his run up with the promo. And by promo, we saw the tit for tats that we got with OBO in the beginning. And then we started hearing music. We started seeing him coming out and prepare us for his album. From the previews, obviously, of the songs, two extreme universes from the last release and to this one, Piece of My Heart. Essentially, I'd taken up a lot of the, I guess, what has become the status quo for Wizkid in a lot of sense since Made in Lagos era and P2J production, everything. Ironically, P2J is on the next track, which sees him in a completely different headspace, which I would say over time has become where the momentum seems to be shifting now for Afrobeats and everything culture-wise. We saw this transition with Rema as well when he came from his Calm Down era, very like sultry, guitar loop, international friendly headspace. And then we obviously saw him with the recent album, where he is essentially domesticating his sound. Thanks to the likes of Ashake, thanks to the likes of Charlie Poppy and Odumodu Black, there's been a huge shift sonically to point back home to the bass, which is beautiful, and it's a nice thing to see at least. And then we are seeing that channeled from our superstars that have gone global and have taken on a lot of ways in the ecosystem in the world, and especially I'm making that pivot back into it, and I'm excited about this one. To be honest, again, snippet wise, man. Let's talk about the snippets. The snippets, crass, very cheap. Okay, very cheap lamba. Very cheap words that I'm hearing on what feels like a very, very dated attempt at coming back home. Essentially, it feels like someone that has essentially felt out of touch. That was my first initial reaction with the song as a snippet. I even made a really crass joke, man. I thought about Jonathan's era because of that song. Because, yeah, essentially, it felt like that, okay? It felt like that. It felt like a very dated record. And it's a snippet at the end of the day. We don't know the full context of the song. We don't know how he's going to actually approach the intro versus his verses versus the hook. Maybe the hook might something. We just have to stomach, and the rest of it might be amazing. You never know with snippets versus the full thing. But we're here for the full thing. We're here for the full gist, okay? Let's get into it, man. This one is called Kese Dance, okay? Let's share it, man. Let's go. I'm just going to pause right here. Production-wise. Let's not say anything else. Production-wise. This is impressive from P2J. I am very impressed by P2J, essentially, because I don't think I've seen this level of detailing when it comes to his traditional sounds. And I don't know, again, I'm going to point it to an Ashake, maybe Fuji Vibes moment, or just essentially Ashake in his essence has inspired a lot of this coming back direction in a lot of ways, or at least not inspired, but triggered it. Because, again, I have to choose my words nicely. But essentially, the traditional pointers back home is so evidently, you're hearing the talking drum already, the gong, the culture is coming in there very rich. And for P2J to be behind this, hey, man, you gotta give him some props for that, man. Let's go.
Dance, tell him make it dance, make it dance, let the music
okay.
For the vibe I've been out for days.
Okay. First verse.
Concentrate. Anytime I do,
bro.
Whether night or day, I day on my chain. Cause anything where I drop, then go chop a J.
Okay.
Whether night or day, I day on my J. I day on my J. Kese, 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 kese. Kese, kese, baby, kese, kese. This is it.
Let me refresh the poll. Listen, these are the dynamics I love to see from Wiz, bro. These are the dynamics that Kese Kese pocket that he just entered right now. I'm there. Like, shifting things left, right, and center, coming here off guard on a production like this is very much warranted, and I'm glad that he's doing it, man. Let's go. Let us go, man. That Kese pockets, bro. Let's go.
Kese, 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 kese. You know the people, they learn the lesson. Shama, ya do me the best.
Hey, yeah.
Every time we did it. I no get time, I no get the patience. Spread the money, plenty. Almost say you go dance. Charlie, me go dance. You go dance.
But it's actually a crowd.
So tell me what
This man actually got a crowd to be singing the Gbedu chant back to him. That's nasty work, man. That's nasty work. Cause couple that with the drums again, bro. Listen. The snippet did an injustice, of course. But hearing this in this full essence, no pun. Yeah, man, they are cooking. They're cooking with the color response on that one, man. No, the production on this too is astonishing from P2J, especially because you liking something like this to maybe Blaze Beats, Magic Sticks, or maybe the composers if they had like a live instrumentation on this. You know what I mean? It's on that upper echelon of like traditional essence, you know what I mean? And I love that P2J was able to nail this, man. I don't know why I had my doubts in P2J making an effort like this, but bro, he's smoking it.
So tell me what you wanna do tonight. You know the party no go make sense if we never did it. Make the party come alive.
Wizkid verses, man.
So baby, tell me why you wanna. She body make you do as you like. Now steady with the bloody canal. Blow some trees, make you feel alright.
I have a thing with Wizkid verses in recent times. Like, he usually doesn't make his verses as eventful as they are, which granted, it can be a safe approach. You can put all your energy into the hook because essentially that's where people get the most energy from. You're just essentially using filler words to fill up your verses. And that's what his verses have felt like for quite a while. And it's not to say it's a bad thing, but it's something, again, that you have to come to understand throughout his efforts or his flows throughout the record, because that's essentially tapped into where he is right now. But these verses are not necessarily too far off, especially the first verse. The transition to Kese was insane. The second verse, I don't know if he has anything else surprising for us, but let's finish up the second verse.
I don't feel like man, I'm wasted, and I'm feeling reckless.
Okay.
Now buy like a latest. That's why I'm working on patience. I know the joke with my paycheck.
Okay.
Sleep with them wake them. So we go vibe tonight. Come on, day, baby. Kese, baby, kese. How many times they go tell the person?
Did I miss the O2 line? Guys, be careful as you're saying your O2 in the pose. Did I miss the O2 line? I probably missed the O2 line, man. Let me go back.
Make the party come alive. We turn the O2 to O3. Malo besi, talawa. So baby,
you turn the O2 to the O3, man. Flex on them, man. Flex on them. Obviously, this was a Drake line. From which song again? Which song did Drake turn the O2 to O3? That was God's plan. That was God's plan by Drake. Turn the O2 to an O3. Obviously, ever since then, O2 has become a playground for Wiz right now. Sold out the first run with Made in Lagos, like crazy stats. I don't know if it was legit 2 hours where he sold it out like twice or something. Some insane analytics on it, because obviously resellers, which is still counts, of course. But then again, O2 is his playground, man, and I love that he's flexing a little bit on this verse, man. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay. Listen, man, this man came in with a different angle, man. With a different angle, especially towards the end. I think he restructured this in a way that obviously made it make sense. You guys are talking about that line. Now who buy last get the latest. So that's why I'm working on patience. Is that a bar? Now who buy last get latest. Sure. That's why I'm working on patience. I guess, yeah. Because whoever is buying the last gets the latest, I guess, a model of something. I guess you could say that. You know what I mean? That's a nice line. That's a nice line. Anyway, man. Oh, man. I think that was fun. That was a fun record. Regardless of how disconnected it can feel when it comes to his Lamba. because obviously the lamba is not necessarily up to date, because Bedu dance is very like, I mean, it can feel like low hanging fruit when it comes to the words you want to use to get people dancing, because it's like, I mean, you're trying to force it there. But I think the atmosphere puts you in a different headspace. The production on this, it really caters into that want to dance, that need to dance, and essentially that's the essence of this genre. I'm still going to hold on to the irony of his last IG rant, to be honest, because everybody that came out to defend that rant, we're all just going to pretend like that didn't happen in March, where this man said he's not an Afrobeats artist. We're just going to ignore all of that, okay? We'll gladly ignore it, because this man said he's a Bollywood artist. But regardless, man, we all knew what it was. I think it was just, again, getting a lot of energy out there. That's it. I don't know what it was where it was on, but getting a lot of the energy out there just to know that he's back. Granted, the tactics or the strategy to get his name in the news cycle, it's not necessarily the ones you want to get to, but bro, when it comes to the material, when it comes to the Bedu itself, no pun intended, I think he's coming in clutch here, and shout out to BTJ on this one, man. I think it's really it's really hit the marks for this one. But yeah, man, I expect this one to really punch up when it comes to gravitating towards the masses. It's a song that really begs for function. It begs for utility. It has people dancing to it. It's literally in the energy. And like I said, the domestication of many of our international pop acts in some sense is very crucial, and it's a beautiful wave where we're seeing right now, with Rema, with him. There are a lot more people that are taking on a lot more traditional, a lot more street leaning efforts. This is him tapping into the closest thing in the Fuji headspace that I've heard in a while. You know what I mean? And this is him kind of balancing that scale that he has already tipped so long with Made in Lagos. And this is helping to balance that scale nicely and help him find that sweet balance on his, his Afro R&B blend fusion efforts versus a more traditional, more Fuji elements that really connect to the culture in some sense. And I'm interested to see how all that is going to fit on Morayo. That's the biggest question mark right now. How is this going to make all of this fit into one album? These albums have been statement albums. Made in Lagos, a statement album. Regardless of what you want to say about More Less Ego, a statement album when it came to the sonic cohesion of everything. And that's one thing you can absolutely say about Wizkid albums in the last recent times. They've all been cohesive. They've been a very strong, unified stance that all the songs kind of take. To see how pulled away these two singles are already lets me know that this might be a different album. This might be a different approach. Again, I think the objective might be to balance that scale based off of these two singles that we've gotten. The objective here might be to balance that scale for him, and I am actually excited in the idea of it itself, being able to balance, being able to make something different from the last two albums. To be honest, he needs this. He needs something different from the last two albums. However crass he wants to make it, however, just a nice pivot, a gentle pivot, not necessarily a full 180, say a 45-degree change in direction, or halfway through, changing direction would be nice, to be honest. So it's nice that it's balancing the scale right now, which makes me look forward to the album a lot more if I'm getting this two extreme ends on the album. And I just hope that it's being balanced or it's being sequenced nicely. That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. It all comes together nicely in the album. It doesn't feel too abrupt when we're going from song to song. And I'm looking forward to it. November 26th is when we have it, right? November 26th, so we're going to be here for sure for that Wizkid album. And Morayo, man, dedicated to his late mom, of course. And that's on a Tuesday. Interesting, it's dropping on a Tuesday. Emergency live stream or no? Emergency live stream? Yes or no? Because I'm down. I'm down, bro. I'm down for that. Is anyone down for it? I'll be down, man.